Hey guys, it's your boy M.K.S. Hope everyone's well. To be honest, I was pondering whether to do another one of my list videos, but I decided to just do a regular chit chat video or whatever. So in case for those who don't like list videos, hopefully I'll do videos for all sorts of people. That's the plan anyway. So sticking to the topic as I said before about Asia and my plans, empowering Asian communities, things like helping the homeless in Asia or the poor in Asia, and people from slums, orphanages, people with learning disabilities or any form of disability. I try to think through in my head some of the topics that I wanted to cover. But thought I'd try and do it not so much in a list form, but so anyway, I hope people out there will enjoy this video. And as I said, these sorts of the videos I make in April, May, and June are for those who have an interest in Asia and wish to perhaps share in the comments stuff about Asia, about Asian empowerment, Pan-Asianism, Asian history, and things like that. And one of the things I was thinking about recently, actually, and I hope I don't forget what I was going to say, but is about what the coronavirus effects will be on Asia. And in fact, I think it'd be great to hear in the comments section any predictions about whether you think it's going to be negative or positive for Asia, or will it affect different countries in Asia or differently. Like China, will the reputation go down or the products not be sold as well? And if people avoid going to Chinese restaurants, I suppose the things they normally import will probably generally come from China. So I wonder whether people will stop going to Chinese restaurants or buying Chinese goods or things like that, or will it just carry on pretty much as usual? Or will China even have an advantage because they had it first, so they, in overcoming it perhaps, or I know they haven't probably overcome it completely, but they will perhaps have more information which they can then sell to the rest of the world or use it for diplomacy, like to trade with other or network with other Asian nations and say, if you support us, we'll help you with this problem, like Japan or other country or India, and saying that if you support us, if you support us politically or in other ways, and help us out, we'll give you the information that you need. And if other countries put pressure on them, could they use it as like saying, if you're harsh to us, we're not going to share this information with you, or things like that. So I wonder how if China can actually make this from perhaps a negative, well, I suppose, even a negative thing, even for them, or especially for them, in fact, into a positive, and could it improve, and enhance relations between Asian nations? I'd like to give a salute or shout out to any organisations that, I don't know them by name, but any organisations that wish to empower and support Asia, even if I'm not mentioning your names because I don't know them as such, but I wish to give them a shout out. But I certainly wish to give a shout out to like Asian Boss, Off the Great Wall, the Chen Dynasty, and channels like that which focus on Asia, and to support Asian YouTubers. And I'd love to have a list of in the future, perhaps at some stage, the top, maybe even next Tuesday or Thursday, as I like to stick to certain themes on certain days. I'd like to have a list of the top 30 Asian YouTubers or top 30 Asian YouTube channels, or sometimes just to mix up, I might do like a list of top 10. I know there are some channels that have already done this, so I'd like to share those links as well and things like that, because I want to empower and support Asia generally. And I know Asian Boss have done channels about where they've given money to homeless people in Asia, and a few other channels have done stuff like that. And there's one, Troy Vietnam or something like that, which they've been giving funding to, as far as I'm aware, poorer people in Asia, and people like Asian Boss have been doing a lot of charity work for people in Asia, like feeding the homeless and things like that. So that's great stuff. So I'd like to give a shout out to those organisations and anyone who is doing their best to support Asia. I didn't quite mention in my last video because I knew it was quite long. I think it was like 15 minutes or something. So I went, I think, or 12 minutes. I can't quite remember. But anyway, I went over 10 minutes that I planned. I think it was 12 and a half minutes in the end. But I was going to mention about people in Asia. I probably mentioned this point before, but a lot of people who go abroad and give money to charity, I think you've got to be careful about their intentions, or if they really are trying to help. And I mean, people with money from Western countries. So I think it'd be really good to train up parents or authorities in Asian nations about how to keep children safe online and protect them from predators and things like that, so that they ensure that the charity, or if they are getting funding or if they are getting support, is actually being used to actually benefit those people. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, maybe even organisations from Western countries like charities and NGOs which work on child protection or protection of vulnerable children can ensure that they are safe, because obviously you have to work, you have to think of things like that. And I talked before about a bucket list about going to all the possible Asian nations and working with people of all ages really, but especially children from slums and orphanages, and my fellow dyslexics, because I'm dyslexic myself, so I have an interest in empowering them for the future. And I know I talked as well about how I'd love to help as many people. One of my dreams is to get mentors and people like that to support as many people with dyslexia from Asia, and also possibly people with ADHD and other conditions as possible to become millionaires or even billionaires by 2030. So it's another one of my wacky dreams. And at different times of the year also I wish to do similar things for people in Africa as well. I lost my train of thought. But yeah, so I'd love to find out about the top Asian YouTube channels like T-Series from India, and also ones from China, Japan, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, the Philippines, and wherever else, and also empower more people to become YouTubers and support each other's channels, Asians and part Asians, support channels, especially from Asia itself, and encouraging as many people as possible to support their channels and their content, like Asian Boss and things like that, the Chen Dynasty, Off the Great Wall, and all sorts of great channels like that. Sorry, I lost my train. I was going to say about the bucket list. I'd love to go to parts of Asia and bring groups like organisations that work with children and ensure that children are safe, and also dyslexia organisations like Made by Dyslexia and the Yale Centre for Dyslexia and Creativity and the Dyslexic Advantage. I'd love them to do international work in Asia as well as Africa, but at the moment, as I said, I think of Asia, to talk about the positive sides of dyslexia, and also how we can empower them to actually ensure that they actually are benefited. For want of a better word, they are beneficiaries, or they're benefactors. They actually benefit, to put it simply, from these projects in the longer run as well, and in the short run. And like to take them footballs. Like I was thinking, like in Pakistan, I think in places like Pakistan they make footballs, as far as I'm aware, probably even in India as well, and other parts of Asia. But for Western people like myself who enjoy football, I don't play it very often at the moment, but I used to like live for football and stuff like that. But those people who probably make the footballs, and some of them are young children, they don't always work in the safest condition. But wouldn't it be great to take people there to give them a football and play football with them, and organise them, even maybe like, although I'm an Italian football fan, but maybe even football clubs like Man United or Chelsea or Liverpool, or especially Italian clubs and Celtic and clubs like that, to bring people from those countries that actually make the footballs that we get to play football with. And I think a lot of them come from Pakistan, if I'm not mistaken. Wouldn't it be great to get them to go to football stadiums and play football and do fundraising events for them in the future, and even in Pakistan itself to have like football pitches where they can go and play football, and people who might never even had the chance to play before can do so. But anyway, I'm conscious this video is going quite long, so I'm probably going to try and make another one just so I can cover more points without going too much. So I'd love to know what you think about this video. As ever, comments welcome. Peace and love.